with especially Western civilization, the whole human rights thing is roots come in. You're created in the image of God.
Yeah.
And so that gives you so you're more than just a physical form. You're a spiritual being, and so you have value in that sense. And that's where human rights come in. So if you kill somebody, then you're killing something that has a soul and has a spirit. So we need to protect that. And when I look at Feng Shen and stuff like that, all the things that I hold dear are in that story, family and the role of father, the importance of male role models.
Yeah.
Because especially it takes everybody grows up, but it takes but you need a strategy to become a powerful man.
Yes.
And powerful man, but also be a good leader. To be all those things, it takes a strategy, and you need boundaries and rules, because if you don't, you're just corrupt, and that's reflected in the king. He's the ultimate power, and he saw himself as a god.
Yeah.
And but what is it about corrupt men do? Well, you need good, strong warriors who will step up to that, and warriors and stuff come in all shapes and sizes, and look, I think and one of the things I'm really that we're benefiting of, and it's largely thanks to COVID, is that the increase in subtitles, and I think people now are getting used to reading subtitles, and there are just some things that cannot be said in English that has to be said and in traditional dialogue and Chinese language, and allow the subtitles to translate it effectively, because gone are the days when you move the lips and put English voice over it. No, I think one of the beauties of this particular time that we're in is that we don't have to sound in English, we don't have to sound American. We speak it in our language. That way we're speaking with our whole body and with our whole being, and also because that's what's believable, and the audience is much smarter and they can read the lines, and that's one of the things I'm looking forward to, because that's one of the things that we are talking about as we go and watch it next week. Will it be subtitles? And so that was really cool. I was in China and I was watching an Arnold Schwarzenegger film, and it was all done in English.
Yeah,
it was in Chinese subtitles, and it was kind of wow. And so that was great.
What's the big challenge for you throughout the journey making? Yeah,
the stunt work itself is we've done it before. Is making sure that the big challenge for me was, obviously we have a very busy work schedule, and you guys know how to work, and you work, don't stop. But trying to, managing our safety procedures, making sure that people are safe, and that you keep a certain amount of standard of work up, and because and also. And it goes back to what I was saying, why we do previs and rehearsal so well, because it's easier to change things when there's only 60 of you, but when there's 300 people in costume plus the 200 people who are crew and stuff, that's a lot of movements you got to do. So it's much easier to make sure you do as much as you can and answer as many questions as you can with at rehearsal and prep. And the challenge really was finding the language and the tone to speak so you can achieve things on scale. So what I mean by that, so I would be in a tent with the director and the DP, sometimes 100 meters away from the battlefield.
Yeah.
And so relying completely on
intercom,
all the monitors, and also talking to my team who are spread throughout, and ensuring that and the conditions were tough, because we started in midsummer, then we went around the heart of winter, and just making sure that there's different layers, that people are safe, that people are being looked after, and also that we're achieving the task. Yeah. And so having that right balance throughout is really crucial, and being able to change and finding the language through translation. So to say wait, of course. Maybe not today.
Yeah. And are you looking forward to working with Wushan again?
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to. And, it's Wushan is a great visionary and things like that, but he also is surrounded by some really good people, a lot of good people. And I think that's really at the end of it, the key to it is that, as you know, you spend a lot of hours on a film set. And the best thing about working with Wushan was the fact that he gave me permission to do what we did. And also at the same time, he has the ability to ask, and he doesn't ask things that you can't deliver. So it was good for me. I would say, hey, how many do you want? And then he goes, how many can you do? And I'll say, I'll do whatever you ask for. and so that was the that was the relationship that we had.
Yeah.
If I don't work in the industry again, Fang Shen will be one of the most memorable. I've done a lot of big projects, and they're all memory. They all have their own strength. But the period in China, being in Qingdao, the team, and also just the amount of people who involve and the work it takes to move all the blue screens so quickly and efficiently. And we would ask for things. I would ask, can we have 350 ton cranes?
Yeah.
And people would say, what time? And I was just like, oh, okay, what time? That's right. All right. So we have to, and it'll be there. And it'll be there.
So things done very quickly and efficiently. Yes,
efficient, and sometimes too efficient for me, because sometimes what you're used to in the Western side is that because we're so full of systems and often a lot of red tape, it's called red tape to get over sometimes.
Yes.
You ask the questions and you build in a time difference from when you ask from when you get to do other things.
Yes.
One of the things that with China, with on function particularly, when we asked, we got.
Yes.
So it was kind of like, so we had to be really careful of the time it takes to ask, because it was faster than any other time I've worked in the industry.
Yeah.
So like I'd ask for a crane, it'll says, what time in the morning would you like it?
Yes.
It's 7 o'clock at night.
Like what I learned in the Chinese industry is the speed. Because we as director, I work overtime all the time in the Chinese filmmaking. I believe that's valuable sometimes, but that also can burn your film sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think as a love letter to the Chinese film community, and it's like that speed is absolutely wonderful, but sometimes slower is better.
Yeah.
And because when you're just trying to do things for the sake of speed, you miss out on the pieces of gold that happens during the film process.
That's right.
And sometimes the light just might be hitting a certain spot. Just slow down. Let's go and shoot that. Those little magic moments. And when that was just one of the things in those big battle sequences, because there were so many people, and was just looking at the small individual performances that were happening, because often what you get in big epic movies when you have lots of film is that you got all sorts of different people coming on board, and it just pays to keep an eye out on some of the small moments that are happening, because they could change the way something looked. Particularly, some of those people who are extras were acting students and also who want to be actors, and they're using moments to perform. And amongst some of the action, and if you shoot through some of the action, you'll find these beautiful moments of a young teenager desperately fighting, and it's kind of, those are the things that you need to find, and you'll brush over them if you're going too fast. Just take a moment and look at the little details, things that are happening in the chaos.